Now, in this video, guys, we shall be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback that is Joe Burrow. Now, in the first two games that Joe Burrow has played, in the first game, he did not play very well. In the second game, he still played better, but I still didn't play to the expectation that I expected Joe Burrow to play against. Now, keep in mind, the first two games that Joe Burrow did play in were division rival games against the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. In game one, he was 14 for 31, 82 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, had a QBR rating of 34.3. In game two, he had a 27 for 41, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a 61.2 QBR rating against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the one thing that I will give the benefit of the doubt for Joe Burrow is that he's been dealing with an injury that's kept him out all of the preseason. And even tonight, when the Cincinnati Bengals are going to be facing the LA Rams, Joe Burrow is going to be a game-time decision. So as of right now, 3:45 as I'm recording this, Joe Burrow is a game-time decision. There's a possibility that Joe Burrow may play this game. There's a possibility Joe Burrow may not play this game. If you want my honest opinion on whether I think Joe Burrow should play this game, I really don't think so. Just because I know the Rams defense and I know Aaron Donald, and he will get after Joe Burrow. And if Joe Burrow's still dealing with this injury, this is not a good game to return him against. The perfect game to return him against is going to be the next game, because the next 3 games are going to be against the Tennessee Titans, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Seattle Seahawks. Tennessee doesn't really have a defense that gets after you besides Jeffrey Simmons. Arizona, not really the same. And then Seattle is kind of still building up to it. So if the Cincinnati Bengals really want to be safe and protect Joe Burrow, considering that they just paid him and he's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, I would probably want to say Joe Burrow starts next weekend. He will not start tonight, which means Jake Browning will get the number 1 start for tonight against the Rams. But if I had to give you my honest opinion about how well Joe Burrow's been playing, it really has not been my expectation, because week 1, I did not expect Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals to absolutely get shut down by the Cleveland Browns. Actually, I thought it was going to be the other way. I thought Joe Burrow was going to go off against the Cleveland Browns, considering Cleveland is just not a better team than the way Cincinnati is right now. And the way the offensive line is playing, they cannot protect Joe Burrow. They paid so much money to invest in the offensive line, just like Kansas City did when Kansas City lost the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it still just has not worked out at all. It really hasn't. Because Joe Burrow is back dealing with the injury. And he's been sacked many, many times in these past 2 games. And things cannot continue. They want Joe Burrow to continue as the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals and for them to have a possibility of winning the Super Bowl this year. Because like I said, 14 for 31, 82 yards, 0 touchdowns in the first game. And then the second game against the Ravens, which was a very close game, which they lost 27-24, Joe Burrow went for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. At this point right now, I would probably say Joe Burrow should be at least at 5 touchdowns and probably even that 1 pick. 5 touchdowns and that 1 pick is what Joe Burrow should be on. But no, he only has 2 touchdowns. He only has technically, I say 300 yards passing, in which I think right now Joe Burrow should probably be at least close to 600, 550 passing yards in total. But it just not has worked out the way Cincinnati has expected it. But tonight, against the Rams, Joe Burrow, in my honest opinion, should not play. And that's the reason why I think Joe Burrow will sit out tonight. And he will play against next week against the Tennessee Titans. And Joe Burrow will return to form. I believe in Joe Burrow. I believe in the Cincinnati Bengals. This is not going to continue because this division, I would honestly say they probably have a good shot of winning it, because even Baltimore, without their star running back, is going to be kind of questionable. So in terms of my honest opinions, I think Cincinnati still has a chance. And even though Joe Burrow has not played well in the first 2 games, things will start to change. And Joe Burrow will probably win this division with the Cincinnati Bengals against the Baltimore Ravens.